Once upon a time there was a man named Bluebeard, rich, powerful, and shrouded in mystery. Behind the locked door of his grand castle lay a ghastly secret, the remains of his murdered wives. His story, popularized by Charles Perrault in the 17th century, has echoed through time as a warning, a fairy tale, and a psychological study of power, secrecy, and human curiosity. But what if the roles were reversed? What if the killer behind the door wasn't a man in a velvet coat with a blue beard, but a woman with a warm smile and a cunning mind? Enter the world of Lady Bluebeard. In this deep dive, we'll explore the real-life origins of Lady Bluebeard, a chilling archetype that flips the gender dynamic of the fairy tale and roots itself in gruesome reality. We'll trace the evolution of the name, unpack the psychological underpinnings, and most importantly, tell the twisted tales of three of the most infamous women ever dubbed Lady Bluebeard: Belle Gunness, Nannie Doss, and Mary Ann Cotton. Each of these women used charm and domestic intimacy as their weapon, masking a deadly intent behind the guise of the perfect wife or caretaker. This is not a story of monsters from folklore. This is a tale of real women who turned love into a death sentence. The myth behind the name. The term Lady Bluebeard doesn't originate from a single event or story, but rather from a thematic lineage. The Bluebeard myth itself was less about murder and more about curiosity, secrecy, and control. Over time, the tale evolved to embody a warning about trusting the wrong person and the dangers that can lie beneath the surface of domestic bliss. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the term Lady Bluebeard began to appear in newspapers and courtrooms. It was sensational, catchy, and gender-flipping. It suggested something even more terrifying than the original: a woman who kills not in self-defense or desperation, but with cold calculation and repeated intent. Psychologists and criminologists have long been fascinated by this inversion. Female serial killers often defy expectations. They don't always kill in a rage or frenzy. Many do it methodically, slowly, with poison rather than knives. And their motives tend to blend money, revenge, and a twisted desire for control. These are the ingredients that make up the archetype of Lady Bluebeard. Belle Gunness, the widow of Laporte. Belle Gunness was born in Norway in 1859 and later immigrated to the United States. By all appearances, she was a hard-working widow, raising children on a farm in Laporte, Indiana. But behind the curtains of her farmhouse, she was orchestrating a deadly scheme. Belle placed Lonely Hearts ads in Midwestern newspapers, targeting men looking for companionship. She lured them with promises of marriage, wealth, and land. When they arrived, they were welcomed into her home and never seen again. The discovery. After a suspicious fire in 1908, authorities uncovered the charred remains of multiple bodies buried around her property. Some were her suitors, others were children. The most chilling part? The body believed to be Belle's was headless, and later doubted to even be hers. To this day, it's unclear if she died in the fire or escaped to kill again under a new name. Belle Gunness is believed to have killed over 14 people, possibly as many as 40. Her case captured headlines and birthed the media's obsession with labeling female killers as Lady Bluebeards. Her use of domesticity and romance as bait set the template for the archetype. Nannie Doss, the giggling granny. Born in 1905 in Alabama, Nannie Doss was a smiling, cheerful woman with a love for romance novels and a deadly pattern of poisoning her family members. She became known as the giggling granny because she laughed through her confessions and trial. Over 3 decades, Nannie married 5 men. 4 of them died. So did her mother, sisters, grandson, and mother-in-law. Her weapon of choice? Poison. She mixed it into food or drinks, often after a slight, or if she felt bored with the relationship. Capture and confession. She was finally caught in 1954 when her 5th husband died under suspicious circumstances. Upon questioning, Nannie cheerfully confessed to killing 11 people, smiling and joking through the process. Her justification? She was searching for the perfect romantic partner. Legacy. Unlike Belle Gunness, Nannie Doss didn't use loneliness as bait. Her killings were a twisted response to failed romance and emotional dissatisfaction. Her calm demeanor and dark humor made her all the more terrifying. Mary Ann Cotton, Britain's first serial killer. Born in 1832 in County Durham, England, Mary Ann Cotton grew up in poverty and trained as a nurse. She would become one of Britain's most prolific serial killers, with a death toll estimated between 15 to 21 victims. Mary used arsenic poisoning to eliminate those closest to her, often for insurance money. Her victims included 3 husbands, a lover, her mother, and 11 of her 13 children. Capture and trial. Suspicion finally fell on her in 1873 when her stepson died suddenly, and an autopsy revealed arsenic. Public outcry followed as journalists and investigators pieced together her past. She was tried and hanged in front of a crowd. Legacy. Mary Ann Cotton was one of the earliest documented cases of a female serial killer in Britain. Her use of domestic roles to hide her crimes and her exploitation of life insurance policies marked her as a classic Lady Bluebeard. The psychology of a Lady Bluebeard. What makes a woman kill repeatedly in the vein of Bluebeard? Experts suggest a blend of narcissism, lack of empathy, financial motivation, and sometimes unresolved trauma. Unlike many male serial killers driven by sadism or sexual compulsion, Lady Bluebeards often seek control, stability, or revenge. Their tools are domestic: food, care, marriage. Their victims are intimate: husbands, children, lovers. And that's what makes them so terrifying. They turn love into a trap and home into a coffin. The story of Bluebeard was meant to warn women about curiosity and dangerous men. But the tales of Lady Bluebeard turn that warning inside out. These women are the danger. They walk softly, smile sweetly, and kill quietly. Belle Gunness, Nannie Doss, Mary Ann Cotton. Their stories live on not just as shocking true crime cases, but as reflections of our deeper fears. That evil doesn't always come with a sword and a growl. Sometimes it wears an apron and serves you tea. In the end, the Lady Bluebeard archetype is more than a mirror of a male myth. It's a chilling reminder that monstrosity knows no gender. Behind the locked door may lie a monster, and sometimes she smiles.